Welcome back to the Haunted Beard. It is finally time. I am finally going to be talking about Ty West's new film, X. So let's jump right in. This is a movie about a group of filmmakers set in 1979 in Texas. A group of young filmmakers ventured out into rural backcountry, I guess, Texas, to make an adult movie, and their elderly hosts are, we'll just say, a little crazy. And once they get there, things take a bloody turn. So let's talk about it. I had a fun time with this. I'll just say right from the get-go, I enjoyed myself. I had a fun time with this. And one of the best aspects is just Ty West nails the setting and just the authenticity of this. It just oozes 1970s. And so now with this and House of the Devil, which I just reviewed a couple videos ago, that taking place in the 80s, he just has a really good ability and eye for just really getting authenticity out of the setting and the time period that he sets his films into. That was probably one of the very best aspects of that film, House of the Devil, and it's, I think, one of the best aspects of this film. Just everything from just the production design and the costuming, everything just feels real and authentic and of that time period that I really liked. I thought that's one of the highlights of the film. Also, being set in the 1970s, this film does, I think, a little bit kind of pay homage to some older classic horror movies. The most predominant one and the most similarities you could draw to from this is from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you've seen that movie, there's definitely some comparisons and similarities between that and this film. A couple other things that I noticed, and I don't know if these were super intentional. In fact, I think these films technically came out after 1979, but there is a kind of a visual reference to The Shining that I noticed. There's another, maybe a bit of a taste of some Friday the 13th in there to a degree, but mainly Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and just kind of, I think it's a bit of an homage to that movie. And so there's definitely some similarities there that I appreciate. I'm a big fan of that original film. I think it came out in 1974. So you can definitely see the connection there. I really like that aspect as well. I really enjoyed some of the shot selection too, just the camera angles. There's a couple memorable shots just from kind of an aerial perspective overhead, looking down on top of the scene that I really like. There's some interesting kind of editing choices here that really kind of stuck out. He does this interesting thing where he's getting ready to transition to the next scene, where he'll kind of do this quick flash cut and back between the current scene and the next scene before he officially moves on to the next scene. Just kind of an interesting choice. One of the things he does too that really kind of, I guess, subverted my expectations is in regards to the killers. He actually gives them some depth and some kind of character depth and character development that I just wasn't looking forward to. These aren't just sort of, faceless, empty killers. There's actually a little bit of depth behind them, at least one of them in particular. There's a particular sequence that involves the singing of a song and a dance that I just thought was just an interesting choice that I kind of quite liked. And so there's just some interesting decisions that he makes throughout the film that I just really enjoyed, that I think kind of separated this from just sort of a typical horror film of this sort of nature, in terms of just the story. It is not a super complex story. We've seen, stories told like this many times, but he definitely makes some interesting decisions and just has some kind of creative flourishes that I thought kind of elevated this and set it apart from other films of this kind of nature. Now let's talk about the kills. I mean, obviously, if you've seen the trailers and are at least vaguely familiar with what the plot is, and knowing that it's a horror movie, there's going to be some kills. And so I won't give any spoilers or anything like that, but just in general, discussing the kills in this movie, I think, are quite good. for the most part, really all just good old-fashioned practical effects, real blood, no CGI stuff. They're all just, you feel them. It's just they come across just really good, um, creative in some cases. There is one in particular that was, to me, very unexpected. I'm going to try to um, replicate my actual reaction while watching the movie. Okay, so here we go. This, no kidding, was my reaction when one of the kills happened. Okay, so here I am watching the movie, and okay, now I'm not kidding. That actually happened. Jaw dropped, eyes wide, didn't see it coming. It was great. So when you finally get to that point in the movie and you're ready for the blood to flow, it flows pretty good. So I had a fun time with it. I mean, it gave me, um, what I wanted, and like I said, I think in some way kind of subverted my expectations too, while giving you a pretty sort of straightforward story. But as I said, he does make some interesting decisions, and just the way he films things and edits things that I thought elevated above the typical movie of this sort. So I really did have a fun time with this one, and overall, I'm going to give this a kind of debating between like a 7 to an 8. An 8 for me is pretty high praise. I think it's close. I'm going to go with a 7.5, and but this is definitely one that I would like to revisit and rewatch, which for me is one of the best compliments I can pay a movie. So I do look forward to rewatching this one soon. And yeah, so that is Ty West's new film X. It's a good one. I think you should check it out if you haven't yet. So that is all I got for you this time. Thanks for watching The Haunted Beard. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, comment, thumbs up, like it, whatever. So I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on The Haunted Beard.